Hi guys, it's Cindy with Pups and Crochet, and I am here because I wanted to show you what I made off my crochet bucket list. Yes, I did. And if you watched the live I did with Connie, we each picked 5 or 6 things, I think it was. Connie would just message. I'll link her in the description. But we did our crochet bucket list, each of us, and so far I've done 2 off my bucket list, I think. So now I want to show you what I did, and I'm so excited about them. Okay, if you look in my other video, I did not write her name down this time, but she was the one I did the jellyfish from. So this is her pattern of a pufferfish. Look at her, pufferfish. Ain't he beautiful? Look at the green eyes. Wow. That's the pufferfish. Then I went on, see all the bumps and stuff on there? The puffers. It's so much fun to see. Say puffer, pufferfish, pufferfish. So I went ahead and did my own. Okay, so I kind of went on the way she was doing them, but I put a few more layers so that I could get more bumps. So she's a little bit bigger than this one. But they both got, but she's got purple eyes with a purple mouth, and he's got green eyes with a darker yellow mouth. But I'm so proud of them. My buffer fish. But see, this fin, okay, the way she did her fins were like this. The way I did these fins, I think turned out better in the back loop only. And I think they came out kind of cute, better than that. Better, but cuter than those. I like those. I like them better. Okay. So, now I showed you that. If you've made a puffer fish, please tell me, because I would like to know. And today was date night on Robert's vacation that we're working through. And we went to have dinner. And guess what? They still had the sharks in the drinks. Outback. I told them they need to get some different kinds of sharks, because last year I got the spotted shark, and this year I got the great white. You see the blood on his gills. So what they do is take a look at my short, and I showed you Robert getting it. And they fill this full of red grenadine, and you pour it into your drink, and it turns it red with it's already blue. So then the red goes in it, and it looks like blood floating around in the ocean. Then when you stir it up and stir it up and stir it up and stir it up, it turns purple. And he had me taste it, and I don't really drink, so I took a taste, and it was really sweet. And he goes, wait, you just got the grenadine, the sweet stuff, hold on. And he mixes it till it turns purple, and I took a drink, and I was like, wow. And he goes, yeah, you got the tequila? I'm like, holy cow. Yes. Simpson is not a drinker. Not at all. So, I wanted to show you those. So now I have 2 sharks. 1 spotted, 1 great white. And I think he is a great white, but he's a spotted great white. But they're rare. These guys aren't. They're everywhere. Okay, so in between his vacations and stuff, as we're going around, we are doing things we wanted to do. I don't know, I can't remember if I told you we spent the day with Olivia. We went and met them for dinner. Well, for lunch, actually. We met Chris and Olivia, and we were eating at Olive Garden, and Olivia was going, hi, to everybody, hi. And I told her, I said, Olivia, because, you know, Olivia's favorite thing is books. And I said, Olivia, guess what? And she goes, what? And Robert, when we got out of the car, she ran up to Robert and said, hi. And then he goes, you want to see Auntie Cindy? She goes, yeah. And she comes running over to me. And I said, let's go eat. So she was eating. And then I told her, if she eats, then we're going to go to the bookstore. And she goes, the bookstore? Yes, the bookstore. So we run around the bookstore, and Robert was looking for a book, and Olivia was in heaven. Oh my goodness, all these books. And she was taking books down, and she is reading them to me page for page. And I'm like, Chris, do you have this book? No. She's never had this book. Never. So she picked out a couple books, and then we went over to they had a little stage area, and they had the puppets out, and they had a cheetah, and she had a squirrel, and there was a slug even. She was like, there was two little girls out there that were a little older than Olivia, and they were all playing, let's play puppet show. So they had a puppet show, and after they got done, they looked at me and the mom and Kristen and Robert, and they go, clap. So we're clapping. And then when they got done after their second show, because that's what they wanted to do, they did their second show, and then I told them, now you're supposed to bow. And they all bowed, and it was the cutest thing ever, I would tell you. And so now, all I have left is Gemma. I sent the boys presents. I got Colton's presents here that are getting sent out, and took care of Olivia, because we went to Target afterwards, and got her some little biker shorts to sleep in, and Chris went and grabbed those and wouldn't let me pay for them. So I said, I'm getting her a toy. So we went through the toy aisle. We're looking through the toy aisle, and then we get over to, I said, this is the baby aisle. We don't want the baby aisle. She goes, no, we don't want the baby aisle. So we go over to the other section, and Chris is showing her the Barbie van and the Barbie truck. She didn't want none of it. I said, let's check down the last aisle. Go down the last aisle. She sees it. Oh, a drum set. Comes with 2 little drumsticks, and it has 3 drums, and then the little cymbal one. So she had that, had to have that. And she goes, take them out. Take the sticks out. And I said, not yet. We have to pay for it first. So I go up with her, we pay for it, and Chris ran over to get ice, so me and Olivia are doing a drum solo in the front of the store, and the guy that's standing there greeting people is like, oh my God. And then it was so funny, because like when we were leaving, I'm like, thank you, Olivia, I'll be back every day. Thank you, thank you. It was fun. So as we're doing all this stuff, then I'm fitting in my days of Halloween with Neva from Manic Mama Musing. We do it every year, and then we do, when it hits the month of October, we do a swap. I send her a package, she sends me a package, and it's 31 items. We open one a day and show what we got from each other. So she's the one that made me this girl pumpkin head that I laugh so crazy on. So I am getting her stuff ready. I know what to do this year, because last year I didn't know what to do. I never did a swap, so it was kind of interesting. So last year when I did the 100 Days of Halloween, I started at 1, counted to 100, and told you a movie. But this year, I said, I'm going to change it up a little bit. I'm going to start from 100 and go down. So I do have a few days to catch up on. Yes, I do. So why I'm feeling up to it the other day I got way too much sun or heat, whatever you want to say, and I just was not up to doing too many videos. So I am on number 97. So I do have a few to catch up on. So I said, I'm going to tell a story for everything. Not a movie, I'm going to tell you a story. So this is a story that my mom told me from when she was little. Now, her and my Uncle Willie were troublemakers. They had 9 brothers and sisters. They had a four little room wooden, not shack, but a house, you know, up in the mountains of Tennessee. And they had one room for the boys, one room for the girls. Then they had the one for my grandma, and then they had a kitchen, and then they had a small little room for the ice room because they didn't have refrigerators then. So they cooked everything on their own. And the peddler would come by every month, and every month she would save a penny out of her shopping money. She would save a penny for each kid, and they could either buy a soda, a bottle of Coke, and a candy bar, or they could get the bigger candy bar or a big lollipop that they would take a couple licks, wrap it up, take a couple licks, wrap it up, and they would keep it till the next month. So she was telling me a story when they lived up in the mountains, and over past them, you know, because they weren't next to anybody, they had all that field. And the peddler, I'll tell you a little bit about the peddler. He'd come up with his horse and had his truck behind him, and he would sell them. So this is what my grandma was doing, and she would buy a sack of flour, a sack of sugar, and a sack of soap. You know, she made her own bar soap, but soap like to put in the washing machine, or they didn't have washing machines, but the scrub boards, and into the for the clothes and all that stuff. And in each pack, they would get either a plate, a cup, a silverware, or they would get one time they would get the salt and pepper shakers. They would get a cream bowl, a sugar bowl. So in each one, they didn't know what they were going to get. Well, the peddler, he knew Mom knew my grandma, and knew she was saving up because she had 9 kids, so she had to have 11 place settings for her and, you know, him and the 9 kids. So she had to have 9 plates, 9 cups, 9 bowls, 9 glasses, 9 sets of silverware. So each month she would get 2 or 3 things depending on what she would buy. And they would come in burlap sacks, and they'd reach down in there, find out what they got. So that's what she was doing. And he, beside doing side work down into town where all the richy people were that had their outhouses inside, what they considered rich then, and had brick houses, and they had he would work for them and do repairs and stuff like that. And then he also sharecropped. And if you don't know what sharecropping is somebody owns the land, and they plant the stuff for them. They grow the crops, which was tobacco fields. They grow the crops, and then they get a portion of whatever this guy sells all his stuff for. So they would get paid one time a season from that. So they did the odd jobs in between. So while they're all doing that, and also he had his moonshine still up in the top of the mountains. So, you know, he'd go up there, fix it in moonshine, get a little tipsy, come home, go to sleep. So the kids were just going you know, running all over the mountain, playing with the other kids, and, you know, just all kinds of stuff. So, this story, there was a house down from them that was not a little wooden shack, but a little upper, but not richy. And a husband and wife lived there. They didn't have any kids. And the husband and wife lived there. And all of a sudden he found his wife hanging one day. So then he left the house. Never went back. So every now and then, a couple kids would get together and they'd sneak over into that house. And at midnight, she would always show back up in the corner. And the kids would go running at midnight and run away. So one day, my mom and Uncle Willie decided they were going to be brave and do it. So the other kids waited outside. And at midnight, they came hauling. Okay? All they could say is she showed up with the rope around her in the corner where they found her. So nobody knew why. Why did she keep coming back? So a guy from another town decides he's heard enough about this and he's going to go and find out what's going on. So he comes to the town, he goes into the house, and the kids are all telling him, you don't want to go in there. At midnight, she comes out. And he goes, I'm going to try it. So he goes in there, makes his bed right there, and he's waiting. Got his candle lit, you know, because I didn't have lights then, so he had his little fire light thing. And come midnight, she does show up. But he doesn't come out. So by the next morning, the kids are still out there waiting. Now they're in trouble because they haven't come home. But they waited, and he never ran out. So when he finally did come out, he told the kids, don't be afraid. She won't be coming back. And they said, what? They said, leave the house. Don't come back, though. She's not coming back. And as they walked away, the house just bursted into fire and burnt down to the ground. No reason. The guy goes back into town and he finds her husband. Gets the cop, or the sheriff was then, gets the sheriff and brings him to the guy, and he goes, now tell him. Because if you don't, I'm going to tell him. And so the guy admitted he did it. So she was coming back every night just to tell them that she didn't do this to herself. So the sheriff hauled him off, the house burnt down, and that was the end of that one. So these were stories my mom told me, and the way she looked at me, I knew she wasn't lying. So she really did go in there, and she said it was the weirdest thing I ever seen. She goes, and the scariest thing. And I ran. She goes, and Willie wasn't afraid of anything, and he ran faster than me. So there's my story for today. Okay, I'm going to try and do another video. So I'm going to catch up and do number 96. So I will be back. Hugs and puppy kisses, prayers if you need them. And please remember, adopt, don't shop. There is way too many babies out there that need a home. Love you guys. Bye.